I tried to understand why he behaved the way he did and why he was so reckless.
For decades, people wondered what drove him. The charm, the charisma, the reckless and callous way he treated others, especially women. Matt Lauer was more than a morning show host. He was America's trusted voice, the one millions woke up to every day. Viewers saw a polished, witty, confident man delivering news, interviewing presidents, and chatting with top celebrities. But behind the smile and flawless demeanor, there was another story, one few dared to acknowledge. Questions haunted colleagues and insiders alike. Why did he behave the way he did? Why was he so abusive toward women? How could someone so admired be capable of such recklessness? For over 20 years, Lauer seemed untouchable, a golden figure in American media. By the height of his career, he had accumulated wealth rumored to surpass 100 million and influence that extended far beyond the studio. And yet, all of that power and prestige came with a shadow. In November 2017, the illusion shattered. On live television, his co-hosts, voices shaking, announced his termination for inappropriate sexual behavior. The nation watched in shock as the morning icon, once considered invincible, disappeared from public life. Lauer's journey to prominence began in 1994 when he joined The Today Show. His natural charisma immediately drew attention. Viewers responded to his energy, his ease with guests, and the confident, polished way he commanded the studio. By 1997, NBC had promoted him to co-host alongside Katie Couric, positioning him as the face of morning television. From that moment on, he dominated the airwaves, interviewing presidents, world leaders, and top-tier celebrities with a professionalism few could match. His rise wasn't just about skill, it was also about perception. He projected trust, charm, and reliability, making him a household name. Audiences felt they knew him, they trusted him, and advertisers thrived on his presence. Financially, he was rewarded handsomely. At his peak, Lauer reportedly earned $25 million annually, out-earning many Fortune 500 CEOs. Luxury homes, private jets, and extravagant vacations became the symbols of his success. Behind the scenes, NBC relied heavily on him. The network had built a media empire around Lauer's image. Ratings soared whenever he was on air, and advertisers depended on his influence. His presence was indispensable, a cornerstone of the Today Show's domination in morning television. For the public, he was untouchable. For the industry, he was invaluable. But beneath the glamour and accolades, troubling patterns were quietly emerging. While viewers saw a charming host, insiders began noticing unsettling behavior. Behind the cameras, Lauer's conduct raised questions. Co-workers described inappropriate comments, uncomfortable encounters, and a disregard for professional boundaries. These moments, whispered about in studio corridors, suggested a darker side to the man millions trusted. Some public incidents hinted at deeper issues. The 2012 interview with Anne Hathaway, for example, drew criticism in hindsight. Instead of focusing on her career, Lauer fixated on paparazzi photos taken without her consent. Hathaway responded with composure, reminding audiences that privacy should be respected. Similarly, his interviews with Sandra Bullock raised red flags. He repeatedly joked about her nude scenes despite her evident discomfort, turning professional appearances into awkward, inappropriate exchanges. While these incidents were publicly visible, more serious behavior occurred behind the scenes. Employees described a work environment where inappropriate remarks were normalized. Complaints were whispered, minimized, or quietly settled. Few dared to challenge him because of his power and value to the network. NBC, it seemed, prioritized profits over ethics. Lauer's early red flags, both public and private, were clear warnings of problems that would eventually escalate. The Today Show's workplace culture allowed Lauer's behavior to fester. Female employees described a pervasive sense of fear and powerlessness. Reporting misconduct often meant risking career advancement, professional reputation, or even employment itself. Complaints were met with retaliation or ignored entirely. Anne. Curry's experience became emblematic of the systemic issue. As co-host, she witnessed firsthand the inappropriate behavior and raised concerns to HR. Instead of addressing the problem, NBC dismissed her while keeping Lauer in his high-profile position. The message was clear. Protecting the star mattered more than addressing internal complaints. Lauer reportedly developed a sense of entitlement over time, acting as though normal workplace rules did not apply to him. Stories from staff reveal disturbing behavior, including inappropriate requests and comments, all facilitated by a protective environment that shielded him from accountability. Female employees often felt trapped between fear and career ambition, forced to endure misconduct in silence. The toxic culture at NBC wasn't just about Lauer. It was about an industry willing to sacrifice ethics for ratings, revenue, and prestige. Despite years of whispers and small complaints, the tipping point came in late 2017. During the 2014 Sochi Olympics, one woman alleged that Lauer invited her to his hotel room after heavy drinking. The encounter, she claimed, became non-consensual. She said she had repeatedly declined his advances and was too intoxicated to give consent. The complaint was detailed and specific, making it impossible for NBC to quietly settle or ignore. By this time, the cultural landscape had shifted. The Me Too movement had ignited, shining a light on powerful men who had evaded accountability for decades. NBC could no longer shield him, and the network's failure to act sooner intensified public scrutiny. When news broke, Lauer's fall was sudden, but, in hindsight, inevitable. Years of unchecked power, inappropriate behavior, and a culture of silence collided with a societal reckoning that demanded accountability. The man who had been untouchable on screen was now exposed, facing a public and professional collapse that would define the end of his career. Lauer's dismissal marked the abrupt end of a golden era. Publicly, he was removed from the show, his co-hosts delivering the shocking news live on air. Friends, colleagues, and fans were stunned. Behind the scenes, his relationships and social networks eroded. Isolation became his reality. Those who had once admired or envied him now distanced themselves, leaving him with only a circle that supported his version of events. Financially, the repercussions were significant, though not crippling. Reputation, influence, and public trust, however, were irreversibly damaged. He lost the platform that had defined his life and career. The very foundation of his empire, built on charm and charisma, crumbled when faced with scrutiny and accountability. For all the glamour and privilege, the fall was a stark reminder of the consequences of unchecked misconduct. Matt Lauer's story is a cautionary tale. It illustrates the duality of human behavior, the charm presented to the public versus the darkness hidden behind closed doors. It is also a reflection on power, privilege, and accountability. Even the most polished, revered figures can harbor destructive behavior when left unchecked. His fall reminds us that no amount of wealth, influence, or trust can shield someone from the consequences of their actions. For viewers, colleagues, and society at large, it serves as a stark lesson. Accountability, vigilance, and ethical standards are essential, no matter how untouchable someone appears. The moment Lauer's dismissal became public, the media frenzy was relentless. Headlines painted a picture of a fallen icon, a man whose golden image had crumbled. Social media exploded with reactions, some expressing shock, others sharing stories of similar experiences in the workplace. The public, who had once admired him, now struggled to reconcile the trusted morning voice with the allegations of misconduct. News outlets dissected every past interview, every offhand comment, and every public interaction, searching for patterns. Fans reeled as old clips resurfaced, showing moments that now seemed troubling in hindsight. The conversation went beyond Lauer as well, sparking debates about workplace harassment, gender power dynamics, and corporate responsibility. His